I'm Megan Lacola. We're going to talk about two different things. We're going to talk about CrossX questions and roadmaps. And so we'll start with roadmaps, how to do roadmaps. So your roadmaps should literally be 7 seconds or less. So let's say for your 1 and C, you're running a China counterplan, an environment disadvantage, an attack on their solvency, and attack on their first advantage. What it should look like is it's going to be 2 off, solvency, and advantage 1. Make sure that that's the order you read it, though, because the roadmap isn't for nothing. The judge and the other team need it, and that's what a roadmap is for at the beginning of a speech, so that the team and the judge can, put the papers out in the order that they need them to be to flow the speech. And if you're saying the roadmap and then reading it differently, it's going to screw up the judge. They're going to probably stop flowing. They're not going to listen. So if you're attacking their whole case, you can shorten the roadmap to, it's going to be 2 off, straight case. So what this means is if they have they have their solvency, and then they have 2 advantages in the order of first advantage oil, second advantage economy, then you say 2 off, straight case. And what this means is you will attack solvency, and then you will attack oil advantage 1, and then you will attack economy advantage 2. So if you say straight case, you have to attack the stuff in the order of the case. What not to do with roadmaps, and, I'll see this a lot at after school tournaments, is they'll be like a minute long, and they'll be explaining each argument. So they'll say China counter plan, and what that means is that when we push China out, they get mad at the United States. And then we're going to go on to the environment disadvantage, which means that this plan makes the bad things happen to the whales and then they die. And then we're going to talk about how they don't solve. And that's just, you just need to tell what you're doing. Don't explain it. That's what the speech is for. It makes me mad, and it will make other judges mad if you do that. And make sure that you're saying 2 off. Like if you have the counter plan and the disadvantage, say off case, because you don't want the other team to have that extra time to prep for your speech, for your off case arguments. So roadmap should be short. Don't explain the arguments in them. Just keep it simple. Now let's talk about how to ask CrossX questions. We'll talk about how to respond to them in a minute. So Remy will tell you this too, and this is something he's taught me. Don't beat a dead horse. If you ask a question in CrossX that pokes a hole in their affirmative plan and they're floundering, maybe ask 1 or 2 more questions to prove that you found a flaw, but then be done. Don't be mean about it or ask them a million different versions of the same question. If they screw up, it's going to be obvious. And one of the most important things for me personally is to fill your CrossX time. This is something I tell every team that I judge in after-school tournaments. When you are asking CrossX questions, your partner is getting those 3 minutes to prep their speech. And you want your speech to be as good as it can be. And so you need to give them those 3 minutes. I hate when teams will ask like 1 minute of questions. When you get older, and you don't need as much prep time, and you just don't have any more questions with like 20 seconds left, that's fine. But like, for now, while you're learning and you need that prep time, you need to be filling your CrossX questions. Be writing down questions. Be listening to their speech as they're doing it and say, that sounds kind of funny, and write down like a question. Phrase it on the paper so that you have it right there when you're ready to go up and ask questions. And try your best to ask like card-specific questions. If you see something in the card, have them point to it. Now let's talk about answering CrossX questions. One of my favorite things that debaters do while answering CrossX questions is just to be bold with it. If they ask a question that kind of pokes a hole in your AF and it's true and there's no getting around it, just be like, yeah, that's true. That's a point. That's a good point. But we have this advantage and it's really good, and we have this advantage and we have our solvency and it's a really good AF despite that. Don't try to get around a question because you'll look stupid. If they have a good question, answer it honestly. If you don't know, say, I don't know. If you don't understand a question, it's okay to ask them to rephrase it. And be excited. The most important thing is to just be excited and confident about your AF. You should go into every CrossX round, or every CrossX, with the attitude that like nothing they can do can tear apart your AF, because your AF is just so solid. Don't be cocky, just be confident. And so that's how to do roadmaps and how to answer and ask CrossX questions.